Today I'm going to have a close look at the kind of places where these our endemic fish breed. Now this Western Ghats region, it has thousands and thousands of species of endemic fish. That is, those fish are not found in other countries and in other places. They are only found in small ranges. That is, some one river valley, two river valleys, like that. Watershed, there's differences are there. And among those thousands of fish, they are roughly, you can categorize them into a few groups. As far as from a breeding perspective, that is, some of them they lay eggs, some of them give live birth. Then some of them take care of the young, some of them don't take care of the young. Then also the altitude and all such things, variations are there. And generally most of these baby fish, they need a specialized diet because they are so tiny and their mouths are very small. They can't really eat anything, any bigger things. And so the place where the eggs are laid is very important, because as soon as they hatch, those little fish need food supply. And their mouths are so tiny that they need food of that size, and they like live food by and large. Also they eat lot of algae, I have seen algae, and in this algae a lot of little microorganisms are there. And for that breeding cycle, about roughly some half or 3/4 of them, of these native fish of these Western Ghats, they need paddy fields and wetlands. That is, upstream places where water is quite shallow and the conditions are ideal for them to lay the eggs and breed and all that, and then the babies to survive. Now these babies are very tiny creatures and very vulnerable to predators. So they need nice locations where they can they are safe from too many predators, and then their food source is all available, and they should be able to stay there safely for about a month till they become about 2-3 millimeters and all, and then they go downstream. So in that early stage of the life, the kind of places what they need, I am going to take a close look. Now this is one paddy field that I have been covering for a while. It's in the middle of a town, and this kind of place would have been a mangrove, freshwater mangrove at one time, that Myristica swamp kind of place. Then my guess is about 2000 years back, this place would have been cleared of those trees and they would have started growing rice here. Then that rice cultivation has continued continuously, in my opinion, since this is an ancient town and it's located in a biodiversity hotspot and all. Then around also there is a 800-900 year old sacred grove in this area, so minimum 1000 years continuous cultivation. Then so after that, once they cleared and started growing rice, a new kind of environment settled here. Then I think in the early 80s, paddy has been abandoned because it has become commercial and it's not fetching enough money. It's become real estate now, and maybe in 4 or 5 years this place will get drained and completely, and it will become apartments like what you see over there. So anyway, right now it is in a conducive for fish breeding. So after the paddy, this thing has been abandoned, fish have come back and started breeding here. And so now we'll enter, I'm going to get into the paddy field so that we can have a close look at what is happening here, this kind of place. Water level rarely exceeds about 1 inch, and this is the ideal kind of situation for these baby fish to breed. And here if you look closely, the rainwater is getting into the field here, and then you can see all these type of decomposing type of greenery, along with that some water plants peeping out and their roots. All this provides plenty of hiding space for little birds. And then this is a nutritious soil. There's a lot of nutritious stuff in it, so little organisms like very tiny creatures will be growing here. And for those baby fish, this kind of habitat is ideal. See, they can hide here. Now in this kind of place and all, they are very safe. 1 mm, 2 mm fish hiding around in these places, and then they get all the whatever food they want also in this place. The ideal food what they need. And if one examines this water, you can see little life forms are there, which are probably not much studied and all. And it's going to rain now, so I have to truncate this video. Now you can see this is that Mushakarni, Parni, then all these grass, and then in this there's a kind of a soupy kind of nutritious medium in this water, where many tiny microorganisms can survive, and therefore this is the ideal place for these baby fish. And the kind of food they eat, all that can be understood if one spends time and energy in this type of place and observes what is happening in the nature itself. Let me go closer. This is a wonderful location for any little baby, fragile little baby who is tasty for everybody else. All these roots and plants, and that is one habitat. And in these kind of wetlands also there are variations in the habitat. Some places the water flows a bit, and then so that snake head, and then some of the predatory type of little fish and these eels, catfish, they all like to hang out in that kind of this flowing area edges, because they can then come into the water and then catch something or other. They all eat live fish. So in this kind of niche here, in these kind of places and all, they'll hang out, and then when they see their little prey, they can come and eat. And one of the thing is, in this kind of places, is the biodiversity collapses, it becomes a breeding ground for the mosquitoes. Right now there are not much mosquito larvae because they promptly get eaten by little bigger fish and all, and then those tadpoles of the frogs. So if one can identify the kind of little critters and creatures that grow in this type of location, then one can understand what these little fish are eating. Once they become about 1 inch and all, particularly these catfish and some of the bigger ones, they will come and hang out in this kind of, there is water flowing there, and in those kind of corners and all, they are very safe. And then here, for example, all this dried this decomposing Mimosa pudica and all is there, and then that provides a rich carbon water, which is excellent for microorganisms. And in the soil also, this loose type of soil here, full of little things which we can't see with our naked eyes, but it's the size of what those fish need. I can see also quite a few live fish, but this camera and all is not up to the mark for understanding, looking at them. So this is the natural habitat for the small fish to breed, and also a lot of aquatic plants occur in this kind of location, and those aquatic ferns that I showed last week I covered. It's a bit too slippery, I have to be careful. There is one of that aquatic fern is there here, and then there you can see all those roots. I'm not sure if it is visible. There's a lot of roots here of those bushes, and between those roots also is an excellent place for these little fish. See there, that's a little cave type of situation where they'll feel safe. So they have to occupy all these kind of places and then survive to become 1 inch, 2 inch like that. And then as the monsoon decreases, the water level comes down. They will go back into they'll go downstream where more deeper pools are there. And once they reach that kind of size, they can handle the depth also, and the life continues. By that time they can eat bigger prey. This is a long video. It's only for the fanatical category. A lot of time can be spent here looking at things. Of soil organisms and all will be there in this kind of place. This is all excellent locations for very tiny baby fish. Also those crabs and shrimp and all kind of creatures. Then in between there are deeper areas. Couple of deep ponds also there somewhere in those regions where the bigger plants and fish can stay. When the situation is right, they breed, and what they have bred, those baby plants and fish and all, can come out and survive here and carry on with their life. So this is the location what is ideal for baby fish.